Good morning, it's Jonathan Barratt with the morning debrief for June the 3rd. And the current time is 7:47. US markets closed positively, thank God that something's happening out there. Obviously people are getting wind that this, we are seeing more of a broad-based recovery, and I think that is really positive. The Dow reversed most of its gains from the other night. In fact, we're now in the positive territory for the last two trading sessions. So relatively positive close across the board. Europe was a little bit mixed. Had some good numbers in the Aussie, which was good. Apart from that, a lot of the commodities were pretty mixed. So not a lot to see exactly what's happening there. But oil in itself had a good night, good positive night as well. So quite comfortable about that. Okay, let's have a look at just a bit of a wrap. Just going into obviously the Dow. Let's just skip that ad. Okay, the Dow up 225 points at up 2.25%, and that's at 10,249. The S&P was up 27. The Nasdaq was up 58. So very positive there. The Russell was up 19.56. The local market also had a very strong night as well. The local market was up, I think, close to, just grab that. Local market was up 81 points to close at 4,467. So that's very positive. As you know, a lot of people know we took up our hedge 2 days ago at the low, and so we're now in a buy opportunity. So that's quite positive indeed with what's happening on that front. Okay, moving ahead. We've obviously got some of the news, home sales data, which was very good, very positive, and I think that certainly added to the series of positive news we've actually had. Remember, we're working towards what's happening with the factory orders tonight and non-farm payrolls tomorrow, and always probably see the market continuing to support good numbers. So quite happy about what's happening there. Okay, let's have a quick look at overall all the bits and pieces. And as usual, we start with the dollar index, and dollar index 86.79, and let's just move that page up there. Get that chart just a little bit, get rid of that there, the news. There we go, we can see exactly what we're doing. Dollar index now, it still does concern me what's happening with this type of structure, because it is a structure that still suggests that we're ranging, and that there's this potential for a break to the top side. This is a breach, pullback, and breakthrough up the top, but it hasn't done that yet, and we've got to see the news as to why. It could fall out the bottom as well, but up until we've seen a break either side, it's very hard to conclude what the near-term direction. So we will have to wait for that. But how has the Aussie fared up on the back of things like this? The Aussie's actually looking okay. Relatively good support here, and you can see by that hourly chart that we've had that breach, pullback, trying to work out what to do. Broken this trend line here, and I'll just try and draw it in. Okay, no, it's not. There we go. Okay, we'll try and get that there. But they've got that little trend line in there, and I think with the fact that it has broken that, suggests to me that things are perhaps looking okay in terms of that movement to the top side. One thing to note from here, if it breaks through 83 on the downside, then we've got concerns. Okay, so that's pretty positive there with the Aussie. Euro hasn't been that positive. It's still within a bit of a range there, as you can see. But I do like this breach and pullback, and I would not be surprised to see it attempt 124 pretty soon. Gold seems to be stalling, 122.23 at this top end. And yesterday I was talking to a client. We were discussing, what will be the driver that forces it through that. We can't see one yet on the horizon, but these things are normally geopolitical. But I think the market's getting a little bit tired. I think the mere fact that we jumped below 12.12 suggests that momentum is slowing. But the fact that she bounced back, another story. So if anything, they're still mixed on the gold front. Copper bounced back from its lows, still quite supportive of what's happening there. Crude is a big mover there once again. Volatility is rife, and very hard to determine what the near-term direction is for crude. But I've got to be supported once again. Happy to be long with the stop below 71.20 on that trade, because I feel that it looks quite supportive move to the top side. Having a look at the local market and just look at the futures here, you can see that we're going to close on SICOM. So all this thing does bode quite well. I do like these little bits of lows here just starting to occur because it's all quite supportive of the market that really wants to attempt through that 44 or 4,500 again. And if I can see that break, then I'm going to be quite positive as to what we're going to see for the markets. That's what it looks like on the futures. On the daily charts, let's just get a spot continuous. And you can see exactly what I'm really talking about there. And, I think, if anything, I'm quite optimistic that we have a low in place. Do go out there and buy it aggressively. That's a tough one, but I think that as long as we stay above this level here, that 42.50, then I've got to be confident that we're still just in a range. Okay, so that's pretty good there. On the softs, just having a look there, just have a look at wheat, obviously just bumbling around here on the lows. I still like it, and this was quite supportive, but as we can see, there's not a lot you can do with positions when you're down like here. We have caught a little bit there, corn as well with wheat and soybeans. But I think once that dollar, we get that good direction out of the dollar, then we'll know exactly what to do there. Okay, that's about it on that front. Just something a little bit more topical. Just looking at BP. Obviously, I've been quoted a bit as to what's happening with BP, and as you can see, there's the movement for the chart. Now, the interesting thing here is we're only at levels we've seen since March 09, and this does look like a little bit of a double bottom. And I think you will find more support coming back to BP because it is a properly managed company, although the concerns that we have are certainly out there. The law concerns are out there as well. But, I feel that what has happened is a catastrophe, but I don't think it should be an ultimate catastrophe for the stock. And I actually feel it's not like a Citigroup at the moment. But like all these things, be guided by the breaks, because the technical side of these trades are very important because it will be fundamentally induced, but the break will give you that incentive of when to get in and out. That's just a little bit of a side thing. Okay, so that's it on the BP, and let's see what oil support should support the price for BP. What sort of economic news do we have coming out? That's the key, and coming into Thursday, and here we go. Trade balance in Australia, PMI services in Euro retail sales, very important. A whole raft of data out in America. The most important, factory orders, I think, is the one we're going to focus on, and non-farm productivity. So that should lead us into positive numbers for tomorrow night, which is what we're looking for. So I'd expect the Dow to remain relatively well bid leading into those numbers. Let's see how we go. Also, Department of Energy data, which will be very important. So that's about it from me. We've still got those trades on, which we've talked about over the last week or two. Aussie's looking good. Euro I'm a little bit more comfortable with. Copper's okay. It's not doing too much. And the grains are under a little bit of pressure, but I still support it. Sugars behaving nicely, so I'm happy on that. Once again, you can see that it's all trying to form these bottoms, and they all look technically very good. So I think a lot's worthwhile to weather some of the storm on these. Because fundamentally I think that we will be coming out of this recession, which will aid support to some of the trades we've got on. Well, that's about it from me. Hope you have a great day, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.